Hello everyone. Welcome to another live stream here at my YouTube channel. My name is Christina Werner and tonight we're going to be creating some simple Valentine's Day cards with watercolor. These were heavily inspired by some different Valentine's Day ideas I saw on Instagram that I really wanted to try out. So that's what we're going to do tonight. Hello to everyone over there in the chat. Let's see. Gina says the mail art still says January, but it's signed it for February. Yeah, I just haven't changed the month. Go for it. Sorry. Yeah, it's still valid. You can still enter your address for mail art right now, and it'll be fine. I promise. Okay, so we're gonna jump right in here because I have 3 Valentine's Day watercolor ideas that I wanted to try out with you all. And we're going to jump right in here. And I think this might be one of the more simple ones. Hold on, I forgot to grab something that is essential for this idea. Hold on, let me grab that. Can't believe I forgot it. And of course, I'm not finding it. Lovely. No worries. I will track one down. Okay, what I'm looking for is a empty paper towel roll or a toilet paper roll. And you kind of bend it into a heart shape. And then you use that to stamp a heart. You can also use a cookie cutter. I saw many people on Instagram showing how to do it with a cookie cutter. I think we could probably do it with a die, which some of you might have on hand, but I really wanted to show it with a toilet paper roll because I think that could be really, really fun. And I thought I had set one aside, but maybe I didn't. Hold on. I thought I had a paper towel roll. Haha, I do. It's kind of got a lot of paper towel. Well, not a lot, a few paper towels on it. So I'm going to, oh, just kidding. There was hardly any. This was the extent of paper towels that were on it. We're good. Okay, so like I said, what you do, I'm actually going to cut this down because it's kind of big. All right, let's cut it down. We only need about this much, almost the extent of a toilet paper roll. So basically you just bend in one little section and you turn it into a little heart, a little wonky heart. Isn't that so fun? You can actually tape it so it'll stay in that shape. But then we're going to use this to do some watercolor. All right, let's get some watercolor paper. I'm using Strathmore 5x7 pre-cut paper. And I'm going to be doing 3 different ideas, so I'll just pull out a few sheets. And I'll grab one right here. This first idea, I'm going to be doing quite a bit of water. So in order to help me keep the paper from warping, I'm going to tape it down to a surface. Hi, Carissa. Hi, Molly. So many familiar faces tonight. So if you're going to do this idea, which I saw kind of all over the place, like I mentioned, I saw it with cookie cutters. I saw it with paper towel rolls, anything that's kind of a heart shape, you can do this with. And the thing that I noticed that made it look really, really cool is if you have different tones of pink and red and purple or whatever color you're using. I think that looks really, really neat. So before we get to the painting, I'm going to pick up my colors. I'm using my Magello Mission Gold watercolor paints today. Here's my palette. And I'm hoping I can keep things mostly in camera today so you can see it. All right, I'm going to grab kind of a larger brush because I want to get some really big puddles of paint. Hey, Carissa. Oh, yeah, this is a great nail polish color. This is the color The Duchess from Dazzle Dry. Isn't that fun? It's linked down below if you want to check it out as well. All right, so I know I'm going to want my favorite pink that's right here. So let's just go ahead and get that started. I know I'm going to want it. And we need sort of big puddles because we need to be able to like put our whole paper towel roll into the puddle, right? So let's just do a bunch of pink. We'll just put it all over here. I might even have to get some of that red that's up there, but that's okay. I need more of this color. Gina says, enjoyed your Would You Rather during Jennifer's chat yesterday. Yeah, well, maybe we'll ask people here too. The question was, would you rather give up metal etched dies for the rest of your life? You can't use them. They're no longer available to you. Or give up your MISTI stamp positioning tool. Now, it doesn't mean you give up all dies. Other types of things that go in your die cutting machine are still available. So like embossing folders or, oh, let's see what else. Like those really big dies, maybe even if you have a glimmer, you can still do that. It's just the metal etched dies you can't do. Okay. So I'm going to make a cute little heart shape. I'm just bending, and it's going to be wonky. We want it to be wonky. All right. But we do want it to be pretty, all kind of the same level. Okay, that's pretty good right there. Let's see if I can get this to actually work. Okay. So you pick up all the paint, just so it's like all on the paper towel roll, right? I feel like I need to do a practice run. Let's get a piece of cardstock and we'll just do a little practice run. Okay, yeah, that's not even a heart. It's easier with a cookie cutter because you know it's all the same level, right? Let me see if I can. All right, if I kind of like stamp it like that. Okay, that's not too bad. I wanted it to be a little more defined, but that's not too bad. Okay. Pick up a bunch of that pink paint. Okay, so now we take a paintbrush with just clean water on it, and we're going to try to pull color in from those edges. And it's okay if there's white spots that aren't painted, because that kind of lends itself to the whole look. You could even pick up a little extra pink, bring that in. But I just thought it was so fun, like a way to get kind of wonky hearts when sometimes like you can't really get that wonky look because, you know, you're a little, what's the word? It's hard to give up control, right? Why is someone saying off screen? I'm on screen. I'm confused. Okay, I'm going to get this other puddle of red. Actually, no, let's do a couple more pink hearts, but we do need more pink paint. Okay. In fact, I guess I could also just, that might be easier. All right, and we'll do another little heart right here. Oh, and that one looks a little different too. Perfect. Using a smaller paintbrush now. I have a bigger paintbrush that I'm using to add the paint to the palette. I wasn't like super careful with making sure my heart was the same shape as it was before, so that's why it looks even a little more wonky. All right, let's do a third one. And we want more of that kind of tall shape. So this time I'm going to grab more of that pink paint. Just put it right there on the toilet paper roll. And I guess this is the paper towel roll. Okay. This is such a fun way to add color to a project. So someone who I saw on Instagram that did something similar, she has a lot of these that she's used a cookie cutter, is Mana Joy Paper Co. She's the third person, the third Instagram account I listed down below in the video description. So if you want to check someone out with those videos, those are really fun. I'm going to hit this with a heat tool to speed up the drying, and we're going to do additional colors on top, maybe like a red and a purple as well. Okay. All right, I've got my little paper towel roll over here again. I'm going to get some red, and I think I'll just go ahead and just use what's on my palette here. This nice bright red. And I'll just paint the edge of my paper towel. Make sure it's like the kind of the shape that I want. And then I want them to kind of overlap the pink. Like that. Coming in with my paintbrush. I'm not adding any extra paint on the brush at this point. I'm just grabbing some water. And I'm like purposely leaving some little white spots because I think that's kind of the look of watercolor. That's what kind of, I'm going to get paint all over myself if I do that. I better not do that. We're just going to add the paint. Having those little spots of white, I think really help it, you know, remind you of the texture of the watercolor paper and all that. All right, I think I'm going to go ahead and go to purple after this just because I don't want to cover up all that pink. So let's go to purple. I think this technique is so fun. All right, I'm going to go to purple. I've actually got some purple down here. I'll add some more to it. We're going to have lots of purples and pinks on today's cards. All right, I'm going to add that purple on. It's easier just to paint it directly onto the paper towel roll, I think. Or the toilet paper roll, whatever you're using. All right, let's do this heart right there. Oh, that's a really wonky heart. Whatever. And I also didn't dry my red hearts. Oops. We'll just go ahead and get this heart going. That's okay. Let's go ahead and dry these, and when I add my next purple one, it'll be dry. Also, it's not like super purple because my paper towel roll had all that red on it. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to, since I have the full paper towel roll, I'm going to cut off another little section. We don't need it to be very long. Okay. And I kind of like it when it's a little shorter because you can really manipulate it. All right, so we're going to have a little, okay, to get that bend in the middle. You almost have to like fold it in half on itself, and then you can kind of get the, you know, manipulate it into like the heart shape you want. All right. Paint on that purple. And we'll try to get this. Oh, that didn't even do anything. Okay, hold on. Gonna absorb a whole lot more of the purple paint. I tried, y'all. We'll just add a little purple paint. I have the basic shape, right? Adding more water, just pulling that in. I mean, it's there. So I'm gonna have to work with it. The polish on my nails today is called the Duchess. Delia in the comments said it looks like Rapid Red. It kind of does a little bit, depending on the lighting, but it is the Duchess. Okay, that's a little bit of a wonkier heart, but I like it. Let's dry this. All right, and I kind of wish I had smaller hearts. How could I do that? I guess I could just kind of paint them on myself. Or I'll just keep going. All right, I'm going to try to reshape my little purple one a little bit. Reshape it just a tiny bit. I'm going to pick up more of that purple. And we'll just stamp that right up there at the top. See, it's just not putting a whole lot on. Let's try that again. Maybe I need to have more purple paint, thicker paint. Someone in the comments suggested, you know, maybe the paint's not thick enough. Let's try it. See if I can get that kind of the same area. Oh, that was probably it. Needed thicker paint. Kind of makes sense. You know, you need to have enough there that you can pull the color from the edges. So that kind of makes sense. Come around, add more of that purple. So fun. All right, I think I'm going to add one more purple heart. Learning from my mistakes. Thicker paint. Paint it on. I think I want it a little skinnier this time. And let's do it right here. Make sure I get that center area pressed down. There we go. What's funny is that this heart right here was purple too. But I'd used the paper towel roll that I'd put red and pink paint on. So it kind of turned a little bit of a violet red. Okay. And you know what? I want to add just like a little bit of a darker purple up here. Just to get, while it's wet, I'll just add it to those edges there. I think it looks cool like that. All right, I think that's pretty cute. And I'm thinking like, you know, once I cut it to a card, that'll be pretty good. But maybe I'm gonna I'll add another red one down here. Let's add another red one. Going back to my red paper towel. There's a lot of purple paint in it. I don't know if this is gonna work. Okay, I'll just add more of that red. We'll get that painted on the paper towel. This would be a really fun project to do with kids, I think. All right, and then we'll put that one right there. Yeah, I like having this extra one down here at the bottom. So then I'm going to dry everything and do a little paint splatter on top. I think that'll just finish it off really well, especially since I've already got some little bits that already have a little paint splatter. Why not? All right, let's dry this. To take my paintbrush and I'm just gonna normally I like to do this like with an acrylic block. I think it's less messy, but that's okay. All right, so that was red. Let's do a little of the purple. Purple looks very dark. A little purple. And let's get some of that pink as well. There we go. Let's stop right there. We don't need any more. Okay, not bad. Pretty cute. And I like how even though I use similar reds, they all look different. The only ones that all really look the same is the pink, because that was the one that I did absolutely first. All right, where'd all my paper towels go? All of my paper towels that I had to pull off the roll because I need them now. Clean up my hands. Okay. Pretty cute. I like that one. I'm just trying to get what little paint is on my hands off. Okay, so I'm going to set this one aside. This is our first one for tonight. Eventually, once it's dry, we'll cut it down and put it on a card. So the next idea, let me grab another hardboard so I can tape my watercolor paper to it. So the next idea is, let's see here. We're going to do a wreath, but like really kind of wonky wreath. You know what? I really need to get new water. I'll be right back. I can talk at you while I'm getting water though. Okay, so the thing you need for this wreath is you need like a mug or kind of a smallerish bowl or something like that, because we're going to use it for the beginning of our wreath. Okay, put some water here. Okay. So, looking around my craft room, looking for a smaller-ish circle that I can use, and I'm not seeing one. So I'm going to run down to the kitchen, and I'm just going to look for like, I don't know, like a medium-sized mug. And see if that's the right size for what I want to do. Okay, let's see here. A mug or like a cup, either one, but it needs to be circular. That'll work. Okay, I have no idea if my mic stayed on for that whole entire thing because I was a little far away, but hopefully if I was far away, I'm back now. Okay, so you're gonna want something with like a very thin rim. We're gonna be stamping it like we did with the paper towel roll. So you're gonna be stamping it down like that to create the circle. So you don't want anything that's like big. Like someone just said, a tape roll. You can't use a tape roll really because it would be too big. You'll see what I mean when I get going here. Okay, where I had all that watercolor paper at. Where did I put it? I'm losing things, y'all. I'm losing my mind. I don't know where it went. I just had that whole stack of watercolor paper. All right, well, oh, just kidding. I put it back with the rest of the watercolor paper. Here we are. Okay, tape. Okay, so this was an idea that was shared by Dear Ann Art on Instagram. And I just thought it was such a fun way to start a wreath. So we're going to start a wreath by kind of stamping kind of like a circular shape a couple of times. And then start to add just like some hearts and, you know, really organic like leaf shapes. Janie says, we could hear you the whole time. Good. That just means my mic has a really long range. All right. Dana, are you saying I sound like you because we keep losing things in our craft rooms? Okay. One more. Okay. All right. So, and for this one, I want to say when she shared her wreath, she started with like a metallic gold paint. So I thought that would be kind of fun too. So I'm going to grab wherever, there it is. My go-to paints, my Christmas set from Yuli Watercolors. We know I love her. I love her a lot. I love her so much that this gold, which I think is the color Star. Is it Star? Yes, it's the color Star. I've used that so much that I hardly have any left. I need to get a new pan. And I'm a little warm, so I'm going to take my jacket off too while I'm sitting here. Oh, y'all, I'm looking back at that little heart painting. It is so cute. Okay. All right. And maybe, you know, just because we can, maybe we'll use mostly the Yuli watercolors for this one. I think it could be kind of fun. Okay, so I'm going to just put a couple drops of water in that. I'm also going to get the other colors that I think I want to use. You know what? I don't entirely remember exactly what she did on her wreath, so I'm going to wing it. Hopefully, I can make it work. Okay. I'm really getting this frothed up with lots of paint here because we're going to paint the rim of this mug and then stamp it down for the beginning of our wreath. Okay, I've got quite a bit of paint going here. I'm going to see if oh, you know what? It's not thick enough. It just wants to drip all the way down the mug. So we need it thicker. I guess you could also just, you know, paint a circle if you really wanted to. But I just loved the idea of using a mug for this. Or a cup. She may have used like a bowl. I'm not entirely sure. It probably does need to be thicker. I'll keep going. See how it's like, I don't know if you can see, it's like beading up and it's not sticking to the glass. You know what? That's okay. And it is kind of dripping up the glass a little bit, but that's okay. All right. And I'll even maybe rotate it a little bit. Okay, so we have that right there. And then I'm going to kind of go offset a little bit and stamp again. You can even go a third time. We're just trying to get like a really organic circular shape. I'm going to wipe off my mug here. It's a little easier to clean up later. Okay. All right, I'm going to dry this just because I don't want the gold kind of seeping into everything. actually, you know what? If it does, I'm okay with that. I think it could be really cute. Okay, I'm going to zoom in since I'm mostly just going to be picking it up straight from the palette here so you can see it. All right, let's start with this pink shade. And you could definitely use regular watercolors for this, but I thought it'd be really fun with these kind of metallic shades. All right, basically what we're doing, we're making a wreath of hearts and maybe some little leaf shapes. So it doesn't have to be perfect. We want them to be a little wonky. So maybe just like a V shape. So it kind of looks like that. Do some other little paint strokes, just like 2 strokes, just like that, to make some hearts. I'm going to grab some red up here. Adriana's asking if it's important to let your paints dry before you close the lid. I'm trying to think what I do. Normally, I do let them dry. So I'll just set it aside and come back to it later. But you don't have to. I mean, as long as you're not closing it in and like tipping it upside down, I think it'd be okay. All right, I'm going to grab a purple shade. All right, I'm going to see, these can be kind of skinny, wonky hearts. They don't have to be, anything in particular. All right, I'm going to grab a little bit of that gold. I mean, why not? Add a little gold heart. Add a couple little gold hearts over here too. And I'm going to go back to that pink. Add a couple hearts. Oh, Jennifer, that's a good point. Sometimes your paints, like, depending on what they are, they could get a little mold if they're kept too moist for too long. It's a very good point. All right, I'm going to, let's see, I think I want a green. So I think maybe like a, what, a teal green? No, we'll just go like a regular green. Because I want to just kind of add some leaf shapes, which I think could be really cute. Just to give it a little bit of a different look. I'm really letting that water soak into the paint before I go to paint it. And then I think it would be interesting to add some little dots. Maybe not paint splatter, but dots. Okay, so when I go to do a leaf, I just do like a start thin and get thick. And then I'm going to do it for both sides just so it kind of turns into a leaf shape. And then I'm going to do that twice just so I can get some little leaves. I thought that would be kind of cute. So maybe it's just a little stroke, a little, None of these are really precise, so you can do lots with it. All right, I think I'll add a little leaf right there. You can even add some little skinny stems on the ends. Make them look like they're coming from the wreath a little bit more. All right, and I'm gonna add, I feel like there needs red over here. So I'm going to get some red. I'm just gonna add a little red heart right there, and maybe red heart right here too. All right. Get a little gold. And I said I wanted to add little berries, so I'm gonna add, I like to add them in like groups of 3. I think that always looks nice. So I'm doing them in gold. Maybe I'll just add one right here, a couple. It's always like a good thing to have in your arsenal. You know, if you have a spot that's not looking quite right, you can just add some berries to kind of fill in the space, fill in the gaps. All right. I think it looks pretty good. I'm going to leave it as is, except I kind of like there's a little bit of gold coming into this purple over here. I think that looks kind of interesting. So I'm just going to add a little gold in there and see what happens. Maybe it'll add a little water to that and it kind of spreads out. I think it's kind of pretty. There's a little gold that got into that red up there too. All right, I'm gonna leave it like this. Very free form. We're not gonna touch it. And we'll come back and add it to a card at the end. All right, so one more card idea, and I think it might be my favorite because I always love to draw or paint watercolor flowers. Those were kind of flowery, but more hearts. I'm gonna put my like metallic paints off to the side. We might come back to those in a bit. I think I might want some metallic accents on this third card, but for the most part, we're gonna be back to regular watercolor paints. All right, let me grab another hardboard to put my watercolor paper on. And for this one, we're going to be painting a full edge-to-edge pattern. And we're going to do some, let's see, we're going to do some flowers. So that that last one with the wreath, that was inspired by Dear Ann Arndt on Instagram. And this last one is inspired by Kristen Van Leuven. She is Hello Lovely People on Instagram. I've got these Instagram accounts linked down below. She did like a whole series on Instagram. She may have even shared on her YouTube channel. She did a whole series of tags for Christmas where she had a big sheet of watercolor paper and she did a whole pattern all the way across and then cut them into separate tags. And I was just really taken with one of her last patterns for her Christmas tags where she just showed some really simple flowers. And I thought it was just so fun. So we're going to do that, but put it all over on our card. Okay, so basically what you need, you're going to need a few different pools or puddles of paint on your palette. I'm going to be doing reds and pinks. So let's see here. I'm gonna, this is a size 4 brush. I think I want something just a little bit larger. So I'm going to do a size 8. All right, and let's see, we want pinks. I've got my pink here. I'll just mix that in with my red. Okay, so the one thing that she mentions in her Instagram tutorial or reel is that she starts out with a light color of paint. So something a little bit more diluted. So I'm adding a lot of water. And basically what she's doing is she creates kind of big blobby flowers with the center completely open. So let's just try one. She goes kind of like a blob and then another little blob. And then, you know, and then like that. So it's really blobby. And then she comes in with a more intense, what's the word? A more intense shade with more color while it's still wet, and just uses the very tip of her brush and adds that color to the center of the flower, and then just lets it go and lets it sit. So we're not going to touch it. In fact, I might even have a little too dark of pink. So I'm going to dilute it down even more. It's almost turning purple down here. But I'm going to do another little blobby flower or big blobby flower, depending on how you look at it. It is kind of a big one, actually. Just leave that center open and then come in with that darker shade. This is a much larger flower than the other one, but that's okay. And just let that color wick out from the center. This is my first time really trying flowers like this, so it's not looking quite the same as hers, but you know what? That's okay. It's gonna look different. Everyone's will look different. All right, let's try more of a red shade. I'm really gonna dilute it. Get lots of water. I feel like it needs even more water than that. Like, come on. Dilute already. Okay. All right, so like one little petal, and then 2, and then 3, 4, and 5. And they can be really blobby. They don't have to form like actual real flowers. Then I'm going to come in with the darker color for the center and really get that to wick out. These are so fun. I love this. All right, let's try maybe like a purple. A little bit of like a purpley pink. Let's try that. I think that could be fun. So on her original, tags that she was painting, she also included some greenery that was kind of filling in the gaps between the flowers and some berries and things like that. So we'll see if I have enough space to do that too. We'll see. Kind of fun. All right, I'm going to come back to the pink. Actually, we'll do that purple again. Do more of a purple. Ooh, actually, no, I want this color. Yeah, there we go. All right, so kind of blobby. Kind of semi-defined shapes. And then drop in more of that darker color right there in the center. How fun is that? So I watched her video right before I went live, but I haven't watched it like since, so I'm not entirely remembering exactly how she did hers, which I guess is good. It's making sure that I try something new. But all right, Let's do another pink one right here. Those flowers are like intersecting, whatever, that's okay. Got them a little too close. Come in with the bright pink right there in the center. Let that wick away. Hey, Jennifer. Okay, let's try, I'm just trying to think of any other kind of reds or pinks or purples that I could do. I really like that shade right there. Let's try some more of that one. We'll add it right here. And maybe it'll just be like going off the edge here. And we'll add that right there so it can wick away. All right, let's try, we'll do another full-on purple. These are like even less defined flowers than hers were. Hers were definitely more defined than this, but that's okay. We're just trying it. Okay. All right, I'm gonna let this dry, or rather speed it up. Okay, I'm trying to remember. I think the next thing that she did was she got like a green shade, which I think I'll do this one right here. Sorry, it's off screen, but maybe a little bit of that one. Yeah, that works. Okay. And then she did sort of like some she was doing like pine needles because it was a Christmas pattern. So I don't necessarily need to do that, but I'm trying to think how exactly I want to do this. I think maybe I'll just do kind of like a, I don't know, like wispy leaf shapes. I don't know. I'm just going for it. In fact, I feel like I need to add like a lighter green in here as well. So let's add a little, and then I can add a little bit of the dark green at the tip of the leaf. Okay. Coming back in and adding the green. Like, this is really messy. Like, it's not particularly any one type of leaf or whatever. So basically, I'm getting quite a bit of paint on my brush, and it has a really, really fine tip. And I'm getting that fine tip started and then pressing the brush down so that it gets thicker. So fine tip and then press the brush down and then lift up so that you get a little bit of a different look there. All right, I'm going to grab my light green again. And then my dark green. I haven't painted flowers like this in ages. I'm kind of loving it. And I love that it's just kind of messy and free. So fun. All right, I'm going to add a few more leaves down here at the bottom just to finish out the pattern. I'm going to get the light green. Lots of leaves down here in this bottom corner. Got a little dark there, that's okay. I'm just adding some more dark spots to make it look a little more intentional. Okay. Okay. All right, so the way that she did the centers of the flowers, I thought it was so smart. She grabbed a metallic paint. So I'm going to go back to my metallic paints here. And what she did was she added like some little circular blobs right in the center, and then used the back of her brush to kind of drag them down so they look like stamen. So I'm going to, let's see, I think I'll do this more gold shade. I usually use Star, which is a little more of a champagne, but I think I want this to be more of a gold. So this one is called, what is this one? I can't tell. Oh, it's just Christmas Gold. That's all it is. And then to fill in some gaps, I thought I'd go in and just paint some hearts because, I mean, why not? We're going for Valentine's Day, right? Okay, so you want this gold paint to be pretty, oh, you can't even see it, sorry. You want the gold paint to be pretty liquidy. All right, and let's try it with this one up here. So she did like a circle, you know, like a few little blobs. And then she tipped her brush upside down and used it to like make some other shapes out of it. I thought it was really interesting. Okay, so I'm gonna do some little blobs. And then just sort of like dragged the tip of her brush through it. I might be putting too much paint down. That might be my issue. That's okay. My flowers look different than hers. Hopefully, I mean, this gold right now looks really dark, but hopefully it will lighten up a little bit. Just adding a few more. Like I'm struggling getting it to kind of drag like hers did, but that's okay. Okay. And then I said I wanted to add a few hearts, and I still do, and I think I'll do it in that same gold shade. So like, I'm just gonna add some little hearts. Why not? Almost as if I'm adding them like they're berries. You know how I said on the wreath, the great way to fill in space is to add berries? I'm going to do that by adding hearts. And they can be really uneven hearts. Just adding a few little hearts here and there. Okay, I think that's pretty cute. Okay. All right. You know what? Some of these little centers are bugging me. So I'm going to come in and just connect them a little bit. Make them look a little bit more blobby. So they look a little more like centers and not just weird dots. Okay. And I'm also going to add just a little bit of gold right there, just for the center of that flower. Okay. Do this with my heat tool so it dries. Actually, before I do that, I think I do want to add a little paint splatter on this one. So I'm going to grab an acrylic block, and I'm going to grab some of that gold. Put that on the edge of an acrylic block. This is normally how I like to do paint splatter. All right, and then just flick it off the edge of the block. I think I'm going to even add a little bit of my pink metallic. I think that could be fun too. So fun. I love that. Okay. Grab a paper towel to clean off this block. Okay, now I'm going to resume drying. love this so much. The metallic is so pretty on it. I love it so much. I have to laugh. Andrew's talking about how some of my paints I'm hit and pan. On the other ones, I've hardly used them at all. You can tell which colors I use the most. I've got my reds, my golds, the pinks and purples, some greens. Like these down here on this row, hardly touched. Okay. All right, so let's go back and turn all of these into cards. I'm going to set my palette aside so it can dry. And I'm also going to take my big, huge little thing of water that has, it's very messy right now. Including, look at this paintbrush, this gold paintbrush. Like what? Sorry, it's not focusing, but come on, focus. There we go. It's like completely coated in gold paint. So I'm like, I need to clean that right away. Otherwise the gold will dry in the paintbrush and it'll come out eventually. It's just a little harder to get out. Okay. Cleaning my brushes and then laying my brushes down flat to dry. And I'm going to wash my hands because I'm going to be dealing with white cardstock. So always a good idea to wash your hands if you're going to be handling white cardstock. Okay. All right. Mail art submission, address submission form. I just forgot to change the month. It's fine. Go ahead and just keep submitting it. Even though it says January, I look at the date of when it's submitted. So if you submit it in February, it should be fine. All right. I love how this gold dried over here. Gorgeous. So basically all we need to do is add some gradings to this. And I'm thinking maybe I'll just use some sentiment strips from Simon Says Stamp to add gradings for all three. Yeah, I was out of town. I didn't have a chance to change the form. But I'll do that later after I'm done here. Okay. All right, so here are the 3 watercolor patterns I did today. And let's cut these down for some cards. Why not? I have my Tim Holtz trimmer here. All right, so this one, I think I definitely want it to be on an A2 card. So first get it to 4 1/4. Actually, it'll be a little bit smaller than 4 1/4. I'm going to have it be 3 3/4, just so it fills the whole entire thing. And then, so 3 3/4, so 1/2 inch, so 5 inches is what we're dealing with, or working with. So that looks about right. And then we'll go to 5. Ooh, I might want that a little bit smaller. Actually, no. I think I will keep it like that. Okay. For this one, I think I want it to be on a square card because the wreath is looking almost completely centered. So we could probably just take off just a little off this one side and it would be completely centered. All right, so now about right there. So it's about 4 3/4. I'm going to cut it right there first. Then if I do 4 3/4, it would be right there. That's pretty centered. Yeah, we'll leave it there. And then this one, I don't want to give up any of it. So I'm just going to trim off what I need to get it so it's edge to edge. And then I'll just center it on a 5x7 card. That's my plan. All right, so it's basically going to be 4.5. So it needs to be 6.5 the other direction. Perfect. Let's see here. That right there is 6.5. Okay. You know what would have made this one even better? A peach flower. I love peach flowers. Okay. Let's get some card bases. All right, so we need a 5x7 card base and an A2. And then we're gonna do a 5x5 card. So I'll just get a 5x7 card base and we'll cut it down. Okay. None of these are warped. They're very straight, so I could probably adhere them straight down onto a card, but I'm gonna do foam adhesive just so they are nice and thick. Okay. Oh, before I sit down, I'm going to, I think, perfect, reverse love sentiment strips. I already had them out on my desk. We're gonna go with that. Okay. And you know, it would be even more fun to do, like for these, you know, cards, because you painted them yourself. You could also paint your envelope. I think that could be really fun. Put just a flower or two or a couple hearts on. Okay. Here's the first one. Something that you could also do with this background that has just little pops of gold on it is paint the edges of the cut paper with your gold paint. And it just gives just a little bit of a gold little frame on the outer edge. I think it's really, really pretty. Okay. Hold on, I got it. No, I don't want it to be stuck yet. There we go. Okay. There we go. Put that right there. And then this one is going to go right on this one, and I'll just cut it down. Okay. Oh, someone just said I should do the foiling on the sentiment strips. That would be really pretty. I'll have to see if I have any of that. I don't think I have time to do that tonight, but that would be really pretty. Okay. And then this one goes on to 5x7 card base. And then I'm just going to cut it down so that it is the right size. I don't trust myself with a paper trimmer to do this, so I'm going to use T-square ruler. And you just go light cuts over and over. That helps it from sliding too much. And also, you won't injure yourself. There's the front of the card. And here's the back of the card. Okay. So there's that card. And then the final one is an A2 card. Make sure that's centered, it's the right size. Yep, looks like it. I used all Strathmore cold press pre-cut watercolor paper for my watercolor pieces today. It's a great watercolor paper. One more little strip of foam tape. All right. And then I'm just going to add really simple gradings. We don't need to get too complicated with these. Make sure my card is opening the right direction. Come on, card. There we go. Okay. Yes, it is opening the right direction. Oh, so cute. I love those. Okay. So for my gradings, I've used these a lot. I think this is my second set. Let's try, I want something a little smaller for this one. So let's try, Hugs to You. Well, it's kind of small. I don't know. I think these are all Kathy Zilski sayings now that I'm looking at it. How about I Miss Your Face? Because I have a lot of card making friends that I send cards to, and I don't necessarily want to send them like a romantic Valentine's Day card, right? But I still miss their face. All right. I'm too impatient for this. Let's just get scissors. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, so for this one, it's just going to be, maybe I'll put it right there. I'm going to split it into 2 lines. There we go. That fills the space a little better. All right, for this one, I think I want something a little bit larger. How about You the Best? Yeah, these are most definitely Kathy Zilski sayings. They're not going to be perfectly cut out because I'm not using a ruler or an X-Acto knife, but they will be plenty good for this. Okay, and then for the floral one, I'm going to say you're my person. I don't want to cover up all those pretty flowers. So just a small little grading would be great. And then when I adhere all of these, I like to take a black marker and let's see, where's my black marker? And just kind of paint the edges of the white cardstock so that it looks a little bit more finished. Almost like I white heat emboss the grading. You can see how it has that white edge right there. I just use that black marker on that edge and no one will even know. That's those little finishing touches that I love. Ooh, thank you, Debbie O, for sharing that code for 40% off all the CZ stuff. What a great sale. All right, adding on these last little few. I can add some foam adhesive behind them. Okay. I'm using waffle flower little foam strips. I'm just gonna cut a few to about the size I think I need. All right. And I always put them on a little bit wonky because I just love that look. All right, and then this one, I can actually just use the little bit of foam tape that I have left. Hello, there we go. I'll just put that right down there at the bottom. Love that. And then for this last one, I thought I would just put it just right there in the center near the top. I thought that would be just a nice spot for that last one. You know, because I don't want to cover up too much of the pattern. Alrighty. Yeah, I do want it at the top. I don't want to cover up that heart though, because it's so cute. Maybe right there. Is that about center? That's about center. Okay. Love. You know what? Not bad for an hour and 20 minutes. Start to finish. Not bad at all. Okay. All right, so those are the cards for tonight. I feel like I need to like put a shadow on them so you can actually see the true color because these lights that I'm working in are pretty bright. Okay, so I'm going to do a little quick little spiel for those watching the edited replay, which will go up tomorrow mid-morning, I suppose. And then I'll be back and answer just a couple questions. I'll just hang out for just a few minutes. So here are all 3 cards that I finished up during my live stream tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed. Varying levels of simplicity, but I think because of like the very freeform nature of all of these, there's nothing too precise. I think they all worked out really well. I'll be back on Wednesday. Well, technically, okay, I have to back up. Okay, so Tuesday, if you're a member of my premium channel here, my premium memberships here, I have the first live stream for February tomorrow. So if you have signed up for that monthly membership, make sure you can tune in tomorrow, or if you can't make it, that's okay. You can watch it on replay. Whatever I film tomorrow for my premium members, it will become a regular edited video here on my YouTube channel. So you all will eventually see the video, but it will be edited down. So you might not get all the little tidbits and little tips and tricks that I share with those who are watching the live stream. But anyway, that's tomorrow. Wednesday, I'll be back with live mail call. I'm going to be opening all of the cards that were sent to me in the month of January, and they were all Valentine's Day cards. And it just so happens that Wednesday is Valentine's Day. So it's going to be perfect. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you come back and join. That'll be 1 p.m. Mountain Time. It's the middle of the afternoon for most of us, so you can catch the replay later if you're unable to join us live. And then Friday, I'll be back with a regular video. So that is the plan for this week. Thank you so much for joining me today for this live stream, or if you're watching the edited replay. And I'll be back with all of you very soon. Thanks for watching. Okay. All right. So I'm sure there were some questions that flew by that I didn't catch. So if you have a question that needs an answer and you're still here, please ask those questions. I'll try to get them now. I'm just going to clean up my space a little bit while y'all catch up to where I'm at. And I'll also scroll back a little bit on comments and see if there's anything that I missed that I can catch up on. I still have all this paper towel roll. I could do even more of those hearts. I think that would be super fun. Okay. Let's see here. Blobby being the word of the day. Yes, blobby is the word of the day. Too funny. Scrolling back, I'm not seeing any questions in particular. Let's see, scrolling back. Andrea, Wednesday. Now I have to decide, join the live or do the work I'm supposed to be doing. The question, how fast can I work? I decided to just do it a little bit earlier than normal, just because, maybe I'll catch different people who aren't able to join when I do it later. Question from Jennifer. She wants to know if you'd give up Disney or cruises. Oh. Ooh. I would maybe give up cruises because there's other modes of, transportation and seeing the world, but there's really only one Disney. Well, I mean, there's multiple locations throughout the world of Disney, but those are a little further and farther between. I guess Jennifer asked that earlier, did she? I missed it. Let's see. Molly's asking, how was the cruise? The cruise was great. The cruise was lovely. Cruise with some friends. They were just so great. I didn't check in a whole lot, except for the one day when we were in Puerto Vallarta, because we did like an excursion where you went to different art galleries, and then they had like a little painting class at the end, and we all painted our own tiles, which was really fun. So I shared a little bit of that on Instagram, but for the most part, I wasn't on Instagram very much this last week. It was a great vacation. Oh, Michelle says the wreath is her favorite. However, all are beautiful. Well, thank you. That's so great. Okay. Any other questions? Oh, Carmen asks, what brushes you recommend for beginners? The ones I really like, and they're really affordable, are the Royal and Langnickel Zen brushes. Let me grab one for you so I can show you. Here's one that's like, well, here's, that's not the right one. Here's one. They're kind of this like, kind of like a gunmetal kind of color. They're really nice looking. They're not super long. They're just like a regular length of a brush, but it's the Zen line. And Simon Says Stamp happens to carry them. They're all very affordable. In fact, I would say pick up all of the sizes that they have because they are so affordable. If you're only going to get one or two, I would say get the size 2 round and maybe the size 6 round. I think those are the ones that I use the most often. Okay. Sylvia asks, what was the make of the fine tip you used? Fine tip of my paintbrush? Is that what you're asking? That was a Silver Black Velvet round 8. So it's by Silver Brushes. It's their Black Velvet line. I really like those brushes. They're really great. I used to use them almost exclusively, and then I've been kind of like switching it up. Here's another one from that same line. This is the size 6. They're really great brushes. I absolutely love them. What brand of watercolors do you use? Well, the ones in particular that I used today were from Magello. That's their Mission Gold line. Also, if you like, they're really, really good paints, and they have a set over at Amazon that's really affordable. I mean, I haven't looked in many years, but it used to be about $65, $70, and you got almost all of the colors that they offer in, you know, smaller tubes. But if you're a card maker, you're not using big, huge swaths of watercolor. So those little tiny tubes will last a long time. So I really recommend those. It's just Magello Mission Gold. Let's see. Would you rather go without Disney or Lego? Well, are you saying Disney, the parks, or all of Disney? I'm assuming you mean the parks. I would say maybe Lego because it's just me. My husband loves Lego even more than I do, so he would still have Lego. And then we could both enjoy Disney together. How's that? Let's see. Ooh, yes, dagger style brushes are great. They're really great for doing watercolor flowers and leaves and things like that. I love it. Okay, I think I've caught all the questions. Anyway, I should probably close this up. In fact, speaking of Lego, I got the 12, I think it's 12 dozen red roses that are Lego that you have to put together for my husband for early Valentine's Day. We exchanged Valentine's Day gifts yesterday because I cannot keep a secret and I wanted to give him his gift. And so he's like, okay, I'll give you yours. Anyway, so I think I'm going to go do that tonight. And, oh, one last question. Molly says, when is your marathon? Well, it's a half marathon and it's in a couple weeks. It's the Disney World Princess half marathon that's happening. So we'll see. I'm going to walk it. Let's hope I'm fast enough, because if you're walking, you've got to have a really brisk walk. So we'll see. Disneyland or Disney World? Oh, I don't know. For different reasons. Disneyland for all the nostalgia. It's not only just nostalgia because it's like Disneyland. You know, Walt started Disneyland and he was there and he built it, but also nostalgia for me because that was my very first Disney park that I went to for years and years and years. I had not gone to Disney World at all until 2017 to 2018, right over New Year's that year. So gosh, I was 35 at that point. Is that how old I was? Yeah, 35 to 36 years old. And so all that time before that, I'd only been to Disneyland. So Disneyland is very nostalgic, but I love Disney World because it's so big and I've only been a number of times that there's something new every single time I go. So it's just different. Let's see here. I guess Linda Fisher had a question. Oh, do you prefer the tube watercolors or the hard palette kind? Is there a benefit of one or the other? Oh gosh. I like both. My favorite set that I use all the time, which is the one that I used in this live stream, is the Magellan Mission Gold. And those are 2 paints. And really, you can just, I mean, I never use the paints straight from the tube. I always have them squeezed down to a palette and then they've hardened and then I re-wet them to use them. So it's sort of like I'm using one of those, you know, the hard pan ones. Yeah, kind of. I mean, I don't know that I have a preference one over the other. Let's see here. Oh, thank you, Molly. Thank you. What did I give my husband? Okay, I fell for the Facebook ads where, what was it, like beef jerky that's cut into the shape of a heart with like a message on it, like a conversation heart. So I gave him beef jerky. He kind of laughed at it. He's not feeling the best. He's a little sick, so he hasn't been able to try it yet. But I'm excited. I want to break it open. They have the hearts that have just like nice love messages, and then they have ones that are a little spicy. And it's not that the beef jerky is spicy; that the messages are spicy. So if you want to go that route, but I want to say it was like Manly Man Brands or something like that. It was kind of funny. I kept seeing the ads on Facebook, and I thought this is too fun. I have to get it. So. Let's see here. Yes, beef jerky, beef hearts. All right, well, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you so much for joining me. Like I said, I'll be back live tomorrow for my premium members in the afternoon. So if you're one of those premium members, check out the time. I think I'm doing it at 2 o'clock, if I'm remembering right. And you can become a premium member by clicking that join button just wherever on screen. And you can join for as little as $5 a month. Or you can get an extra mail art video every month if you go for the next membership level up for $10 a month. And I appreciate all of you who have done that. You're just such a supportive community here. I love it. And yeah, so that's tomorrow. On Wednesday at 1 p.m., I'm going to be doing Mail Call Live. So I'm going to be opening up all of those cards that you sent me in January, all Valentine's Day cards. I'm excited to see them. It'll be a little Valentine's Day party for all of us. It'll be lots of fun. Thanks so much for joining me. I will see you all very soon. Thanks for watching.